Oshi shared an episode where he asked Suzuki, "So where did the pig go in the end?" And Suzuki replied, "To his wife. Where else?" And Oshi was like, "True." Oshi wanted to confirm that Porco went back to his wife in the end. So he asked, "You said he went to his wife, right?" And Suzuki stopped him saying, "I don't want to talk about it." However, Oshi wouldn't let it go and further questioned Suzuki, saying, "Hey, that's what you told me." Then Suzuki reluctantly admitted, saying, "Yes, I did, but it's something that kind of made Miyazaki upset." Then Oshi asked, "Porco the pig is Miyazaki, right?" When he takes off that pig mask, Miyazaki appears. Am I right? I know I'm right. So Suzuki decided to finally tell the story. Suzuki confessed that he let his guard down and rather insensitively proposed how the movie should end. Porco returns to his hideout in the end. This is the model of his hideout. Here you see the entrance to the hideout. This one. Right here. This hideout has a back door. And there is a passage leading away from here. So he walks down the path and there is his home. So he has a home on the island. He lives there with his wife. And when he enters it, his wife yells at him, "Hey, why didn't you take out the trash?" The end. He proposed this to Miyazaki, and he thought that would crack him up. But he was wrong. Not even a smile. That's what happened. I'll turn this back. Here. So, what the producer, Toshio Suzuki, thought, what he had in his mind? Well, the producer, Suzuki, thought that Porco takes the lunchbox his wife made and goes out to hunt the pirates every day. Then he has dinner at Gina's. And he enjoys a platonic romance with a girl like Fio. If you think that's a cool attitude of middle-aged office workers in Japan, why don't we make the ending relatable to this target audience? I mean, come on. You are the one who brings a lunchbox your wife made every day and flirt like crazy with Sankichi in your workplace. That's what he insinuated and made Miyazaki really upset. Miyazaki even refused to reply to him. This is why he didn't want to talk about it and why he wanted Oshi to shut up. Well, Hayao Miyazaki does not always have a clear view on how he wants to make his films. I mean, like when he was making Princess Mononoke. He said if he knew what he wanted to make and why, he'd just say it in words. Once he knows, there's no point in turning it into a film. He doesn't know, so he makes a movie and puts so much effort into it. And his idea is that if he can come to the level where he is making the film not for himself, but just for the movie, that's where he gets his movie. That's why he first made this scene. This one. Miyazaki first made this scene. The ending depicting Porco still wants to look cool to the ladies. The scene was shown in the JAL in-flight version, but was deleted to be not shown in theaters. He did not make a scene about Porco being with Gina, but made the scene one where Porco is still flying, so he can hold back this original idea. So as the ending of the movie, this version is perfect. Porco is still flying. This is what you see now on the DVD. You see it in the broadcasted version, and this version is the perfect ending. If he went with this one, this idea for the ending, you know the magazine Leon? It focuses on men looking cool in their 40s and older, like Panzetta Girolamo. And the movie would be like that. If they went with this ending, many women would have hated it. That's why I think they made a great decision to go with this version. So the answer to the question, what happened between Porco and Gina from the previous lecture? My answer is that Porco decided to be with Gina, but he still goes to his hideout. There is the latest model of Savoia. He keeps his old one docked at Gina's place and hides the latest model in his hideout. Every day he commutes to his hideout and flies in the sky and flirts with girls. That's their story. My answer to the question. Porcorosso is a kind of person who has to be free. Or maybe there is a better expression. He has to fly, and he has to fly alone. That's the kind of person Miyazaki is. He has a private office called Nibariki, separate from Ghibli. He commutes there every day, although he doesn't have to. He just goes there, opens the curtain, and eats the lunch his wife made. And then he goes to Ghibli to work. So he is just this unchained guy. But I have to remind you that Isao Takahata enjoyed an even higher level of freedom. So I guess that's how we should see that old man. And that's what it is to see Porcorosso again when you grow up. Appreciate the middle-aged men mentality. So that's one way of watching Porcorosso, embracing the middle-aged men mentality. It's quite true to life for him to keep his old model docked at his old lady's place. He is maybe showing off a bit too much. It really surprised me. Hideaki Anno, after seeing Porcorosso, said, "So Miyazaki finally decided to go the full Monty," and further went on saying, "I appreciate his courage despite the size of his equipment." That is one harsh comment made by Anno. Well, it's a fundamental question when making autobiographical novels, how much you are willing to expose. So that was my answer to what happened between the two. Let's move on. Why is Porco a pig? Answer to why is Porco a pig, and did he turn back into a human? Here we go. Here you see Porco before his first dogfight with Curtis, after he has kicked the Mama Yuto's ass in the beginning. The next day, he goes to the city and talks with the bank clerk. The clerk asks, "How about helping the people out with a Patriot bond?" And he replies, "Do I look like a person?" Hey, the voice was different, but I kind of got the intonation right. Not a bad impression. So he says, "Do I look like a person?" in this scene. This line represents him looking down on people. So Porco is not forced to live as a pig. He decided to be one. Pigs are so much better than humans. That's what Porco thinks, and so does Miyazaki. He thinks that pigs are way better than any people in Italy or around the Adriatic Sea in those days. Everyone was so much worse than pigs. So it's not that he cannot turn back to human, but he believes he hasn't descended low enough to be a human. This belief of Porco, I think we have to keep this in mind. In the Porcorosso brochure, Miyazaki himself said, quote, "I imagine that the fascists back in the days have called communists Porcorosso." I mean the fascists in Italy back in the days, right before World War II. I think they called communists Porcorosso a red pig. Socialism, as a huge social experiment, has failed miserably. At that time, Porco was claiming, "I'm flying. I don't care if I'm alone." So I came up with an idea that he likes, Le Temps des Cerises, Paris Commune's song, end of quote. This was his comment in the brochure. So the title Porcorosso, it was Miyazaki's imagination that the communists in Italy back in the days were insulted as red pigs. That's how he came up with the title. So we can see Porco not as a victim of a spell turning a human into a pig, but instead we can see him as some sort of metaphor of the communists. If we see him that way, Gina's line, "I wish I could release you from that spell," and Fio's line, "Can I kiss Porco to turn him back into a human?" These lines, they can all be translated into, how can we make you give up some voodoo called communism and come to a wonderful world of capitalism, where we are all free and are given a right to prosper? People involved in the student activism in Japan back in the 60s heard exactly the same thing from their family and lovers. If you find true love, you will wake up from your communism nightmare. The same pattern. If you find the truth, you will wake up. This suggestion to Porco that looks down on him, he can't stand it. Why don't they just fuck off? Who told you that people are better than pigs in the first place? So this is an interpretation of Porcorosso, the character actually being a metaphor of communists. When the film was released, it was quite a rumor that Porcorosso is actually a communist thing. So this is again the first level interpretation. But if you see the film as an autobiographical novel by Hayao Miyazaki, I don't want people to stop at that level. I mean, I think there is so much more. So let's go a little deeper into this topic. To begin with, Porco is a pig. But in the entire film, Porcorosso, only the women care about the fact that Porco is a pig. Did you realize this? Piccolo, the mechanic, the guys who sell weapons and machine guns, the guys at the gas station, which Porco often goes to, guys frankly asking Porco to give them cigarettes, none of them seem to even care about the fact that Porco is a pig. Mama Yuto gangs and pirate federations call him swine, but don't care why he's a pig. Even Curtis, who met him for the first time, says something like, "I hear there's a pig who's pretty famous." But he won't dare ask, "Dude, why are you a pig?" Because he just doesn't care. I told you that only women care, but actually there are also women who don't. Specifically, this is a scene where Porco attends Hotel Adriano after shooting down Mama Yuto planes. This girl says, "Porco, tell us a war story." And Porco whispers his cool line, "Next time we're alone." Then the other girls watch him as he passes between these tables. So the scene depicts Porco as a ladies' man. Who these girls are is explained in a table discussion among Ghibli animators held after Porcorosso was released. It was planned and organized by Animage and was on the issue that was published immediately after the film's release. The discussion was attended by female animators, including people writing backgrounds and those in charge of colors. They depicted those girls as Porco's groupies, who are like hookers. So the girls are referred to as prostitutes. Only men and prostitutes treat Porco equally as who he is. Ironically, it means they know he is a pig and they don't care, so they treat him as a human. Only Gina and Fio, they see Porco as a pig, a being lower than a human, so they want to pull him up to the human class. This irony, this ironic twist, you have to realize this to understand why Porco is a pig. Why can't Gina and Fio stand him being a pig? Why do they have to pull him up into the human realm? Why do men take him being a pig as granted, but not treat him like a pig? They treat him, Porco, as a human being.